All right, this is Chapter 2, Lesson 5, Divide Integers. So, if I divide integers with different signs, just like I did with multiplication, the quotient is going to be negative. So, different signs, they're negative, okay? If I'm dividing integers with the same sign, they're going to be positive. So, two negatives make a positive, two positives make a positive. Okay, quotient of two integers with the same sign is positive. You can divide integers provided that the divisor is not 0. That means the bottom number, the denominator, when you're dividing something, is not 0. Okay? Since multiplication and division sentences are related, you can use them to find the quotient of integers with different signs. So, let's take a look at a couple of examples. The first example I have says find 80 divided by negative 10. So, 80 is positive, 10 is negative. So they're different signs, so my answer is going to be negative. 80 divided by 10 is 8, and it's a negative answer because I have one negative. Next I have find negative 55 divided by 11. Just because there's not a division sign, this bar, the fraction bar, means the same thing as division. So division, fractions, they're all meaning divide. Okay? Negative 55 divided by 11, so 55 divided by 11 is 5. I have one negative, so my answer is negative, negative 5. Then I have find negative 14 divided by negative 7. Two negatives, so it's a positive answer. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Then I have evaluate negative 16 divided by x if x equals negative 4. So I substitute in negative 4 for x, so I get negative 16 divided by negative 4. They're both negative, so my answer will be positive. 16 divided by 4 is 4. All right, there are a couple of try problems out below. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try them out, and when you're done, we'll go over the answers together. All right, now that you've had a chance to try out the try problems, let's go over the answers together. So the first one I have says 20 divided by negative 4. Well, 20 divided by 4 is 5. 4 is negative, so I have one negative, so my answer is negative, negative 5. Then I have negative 81 divided by 9. 81 divided by 9 is 9. One negative, so my answer is negative. Next I have negative 24 divided by negative 4. Two negatives, 24 divided by 4 is 6, so my answer is positive. Then I have negative 28 divided by negative 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. Two negatives, so my answer is positive. All right, now the last one I have says STEM, the average temperature in January for North Pole, Alaska is negative 24 degrees Celsius. Use the expression 9C plus 160 divided by 5 to find this temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. Round to the nearest degree, then explain its meaning. So it wants me to substitute in negative 24 for my C, my variable. So my equation is 9C plus 160 divided by 5. And C equals negative 24. So 9, negative 24. This does not mean that you just put the 24 right next to the 9 and say 924. That is not what that means. It means multiply. There's an invisible multiplication symbol there. Okay? So 9C means 9 times C. 9 times your value of C. So 9 times negative 24 plus 160 divided by 5. Notice how I wrote all of this out. Just because you put this in a calculator does not mean I don't want to see your work. I do want to see exactly the steps that you're following when you're writing this down. Okay? So when I do this, 9 times 24 times negative 24 is negative 216 plus 160. 9 times 24 is 216, 1 negative, divided by 5. Negative 216 plus 160. Different signs, they're enemies, I subtract, which gives me negative 56. When I subtract, I get 56. 216 is bigger, 216 wins, 216 is negative, so it's negative 5, negative 56 divided by 5. Negative 56 divided by 5 is going to be 13.2. 1 negative, my answer is negative. So negative 13.2. And it said round to the nearest degree, which is negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? This represents the degrees in Fahrenheit in North Pole, Alaska. Okay, that's what it represents. So the average temperature in North Pole, Alaska is negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what it means. Okay, so I wrote it down, I explained my reasoning, I explained what it meant, and I found my answer. Okay, make sure you follow all the steps in the problem. You don't just do one and be done. Okay, you lose points that way. All right, that is the end. The last thing in your book is this foldable. Yours might be a different color. Okay, so addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So addition, right? Same sign, different signs. They're friends, they're enemies. We add or subtract. Okay? With subtraction, we talk about which one's bigger. All right? I want you to go ahead and solve these as well. 14 minus negative 3. So two negatives right next to each other become a positive. 14 plus 3 is 17. Negative 8 minus a negative 2. Negative 8 plus 2 becomes negative 6 because negative 8 is bigger. Okay. Multiplication. They're positive if they have an even number. Right? So 2 times 4 is negative 8, or is 8. Negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Negative 9 times 5 is negative 45. Different signs. Division. 20 divided by 4 is 5. Negative 15 divided by negative 5 is 3. 24 divided by negative 4 is negative 6. And negative 50 divided by 10 is negative 5. And that is the end of Chapter 2, Lesson 5. And that is the end of Chapter 3, Lesson 5.